Hello, my name is Elaine Okeke Martin. I'm the founder and president of the SPA and Wellness Association of Africa. And I'm very happy to be introducing Continental Conversations. And with me here today is Celeste. Celeste?
Hi, my name is Celeste Peters, and I'm the proud communications advisor for the Spa and Wellness Association of Africa. Together, Elaine and I are going to be presenting something fresh, something African, and something different from the people of Africa to the people of Africa for the people of Africa. So together we are going to be hosting interesting, engaging, new, dynamic, inspiring, and motivational conversations of success and developments with people from the African continent, as well as the topics from our friends from other continents.
So that's very interesting. Well, so Celeste, let's just dive into this. When I remember when we talked about this, this was last year, and the idea just came out of us just having a conversation from some things we had done, which we'll come into. How did the Continental Conversation with SWAA come about? Can you talk us through that?
Yes, it was actually a brainwave that we had during lockdown. Everybody was so serious. Everybody was really quite scared about what was going to happen. And I had recently moved to take on a new job in the Netherlands. And we started talking to a lot of people. And we came up with the idea to connect as many people from different continents as possible. So we launched the first Continental Conversations with Ireland, with Europe, Asia, and Africa, and the USA towards the end of June last year. And that was my first live, that was my first Zoom call with all these amazing people from different associations. And that was how Continental Conversations was born with SWAA. And although it was a really, really brilliant conversation, it was more of being connected to people and being excited. We needed to also take it more with a strategic spin. And Elaine, that's where you came in, because you are the strategist of the two of us. So tell our viewers a little bit about the strategy behind the development of this great idea, Continental Conversations, and why you felt it was important for us to develop it a little bit more. Because I think it's important.
Yes, I remember that very clearly. And I remember you saying, well, I think you're going to be the one to develop this concept here. I think the strategy behind the development of the Continental Conversations with SWAA, and it was so important to us and to the association itself and to the continent. And that's because people are excited to share their stories, they're excited to share their successes. People love stories, okay? And people love to hear about journeys and how things have progressed, and how things are envisaged for the future. But more importantly, it is in line with SWAA's objective and mission to write our stories and archive them for future generations. So that's something at the top of our list. People are excited about joining our platform for that reason as well, because as we move along in the future, we will have so much more to look back on as well, and to analyze and see how far we've come. So on that, I mean, Celeste, so let me ask you a question. What do you think will be the benefit of engaging in open conversations with connections on the SWAA platform?
Elaine, I'm glad you asked me that. I think that the past year, social distancing has been hard on everyone. But it's also been a great opportunity. I think that some of us have made some really good friends because COVID has forced us to really get real online, to be authentic and to to talk about open conversations and to talk about innovations that we are sharing. What maybe works in South Africa is not going to work in Nigeria, and what maybe works in Europe most certainly is not going to work in Africa, but the ideas can catapult us to move on to something different. I think that the hospitality and the wellness and the spa industry has just shown how amazing the people can be. We've all shared so many different things. Sometimes just sharing with people online or talking to friends and saying, you know, today is not exactly my favorite day. And being grateful with one another and sharing positive communications. You lift people up. You suddenly have a purpose that if your positive aspect that you bring about is going to make someone think about life differently and get them through a really difficult day, you've done something that's really been great. And I think having a purpose has been something really important for all of us. And just one of the things that has kept me going is the positive communication that comes up. SWAA's always got a really great promotional good saying on their social media, and that's had a positive impact on me. And I know it's had a lot of positive impacts on our members and people that read. And I think that with Continental Conversations, that's what we want to do with SWAA, is that we want to give back to the people who actually want to share their stories and also want to be connected with others, because sharing means that you can create so much more.
That's amazing. I like that. And you're right about how, you know, this whole year, you know, now we're here where the world has been handling COVID for a year. We're on that year anniversary. And when we look back to see how we just opened it up and started supporting as a community platform would do, and how fast we were able to do that was so important and vital to so many people who all of a sudden found themselves locked in their house, not knowing what to do, and you know, and their mental state of mind as well is something that the association is proud to say that we, you know, really supported people's mental state of mind by offering emotional resilience and you know, workplace wellness, all of these things that were so important to continue that. I think moving forward in the future, there's so much more we're going to see come about here. So Celeste, we have named this Continental Conversations with SWAA, and you come from the African continent, but you have a continental twist with your heritage. So tell us about your African connection.
Well, first of all, I was born in South Africa. My parents are South African, but my grandparents come from 4 different countries around Europe: Scotland, Poland, Greece, and Germany. So I speak German, which is great. And I currently work in the Netherlands for a Dutch brand, a wellness brand. And I think that it's just really great that we can focus on all being different, and we can share our African connection, because Africa is very close to my heart. Even if I live in different parts of the world, I will always be African. And I think that's just who I am. But Elaine, you've got an African twist as well. So let's hear about yours.
Well, so I'm Nigerian and Danish by heritage, and I'm Canadian by birth. I grew up in Nigeria till my mid-teens, and then moved to Denmark. And as a working adult, I came back to Africa, and here we are today. And that's honestly, that's a whole different story. But you know, that's how it started.
I love that. And do you know, there's a story, just to deviate a little bit, is that they say everybody comes from Africa. That is where mankind actually started, in the center of Africa. So I don't know, when you fly back into Africa and you've been away, don't you just feel that you've come home? Because that's how I always feel.
I definitely feel that way every time you step off the plane and you just breathe that air, and it's just great being home all the time, you know. And you leave with Africa in your heart, and you know, my heart is shaped like Africa, I would say, to
I
some
think that's
extent, you
great.
know.
And I think it's important for people to understand why we have this African connection and why we want to expand so much more. But Elaine, I want you to tell our listeners why you started SWAA, because you've got a remarkable story. And I mean, we've really worked closely together, and SWAA is a baby, really, only 10 years old. But you have moved mountains. You have been resilient. You are, the word I like to use for you is tenacious. I love your work ethic. Tell us how you actually started SWAA, because I think it's a beautiful story.
Thank you, Celeste, and I appreciate you asking me that. It's a question that's been asked to me quite a few times, and it honestly just started by looking at, through my travels, Africa needed a platform like SWAA. I never once dreamt of setting up an association platform at all. That was not a part of my goals. So it was meant to give our industry professionals, and is meant to give our professionals a voice and place to enter and find inspiration, and also experts, and it triggers new opportunity and positive entrepreneurial trends. However, Africa doesn't have to, you know, it doesn't have access to finance, as you know. This is one thing that is quite challenging. They fight daily with lack of electricity and water. So the cost of infrastructure to own a spa is quite high in Africa compared to other continents. Hygiene is another huge area to focus on, especially now after the COVID pandemic, which highlighted this even more. And while many South African trained therapists occupy the arena, we need to see more therapists from Nigeria and Kenya making their mark internationally. With the expanding middle class becoming more aware of health and wellness and things like that. So Africa is a very fragmented in the spa and wellness sector. Each country has its problems. So that's where SWAA came about. How do we standardize? How do we make spas, you know, become high standard spas on the same levels, and also able to compete with Asia and Europe and America, you know, and I think it's time. We need to start creating treatment packages that actually resonate to our authenticity of what is African. And that includes our style, our menus, our offerings, our designs, our people. And we have so much to offer here. So we need to look at where the authentic African wellness offerings are. Where are our healers? Where are our therapies? Yeah, and so on. So I truly believe in Africa's potential, and if Africans come together on this platform to build partnerships and take control of their assets, they can achieve more. So that is the whole idea and reason of why SWAA was set up.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, and it just does my heart so. I just feel excited. I feel an energy because we've got so many countries that are only just starting with spa and wellness and understanding the abilities that they have got as communities.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that's really, really, you know, our whole Ubuntuism, which we're going to do a whole talk about, because that's your and my favorite.
I love that. Yes, you know.
We have
yes,
to take
exactly.
that.
Yeah. So Celeste, you tell me about, you know, you tell our SWAA members, okay, who are listening here, what made you choose SWAA as your preferred association of choice?
It was quite easy. I love what SWAA stands for. I love the fact that we embody the whole of Africa. I come from a standards background. I worked for a company that certified management systems. And while I lived in South Africa, I was involved with the South African SWAA Association for 10 years. And I was also the Global Wellness Day Ambassador for South Africa. Those are the two give backs that I always had. I always wanted to give back to the community. And when I moved here to the Netherlands at the beginning of last year, I obviously couldn't be part of an association back in Africa, but SWAA afforded me the platform to get involved and to share what I have learned and allowed me to give back. And because Africa has so many opportunities to share, so many stories to tell, and so many exciting African traditions that haven't been showcased, I just knew that this was a place I wanted to be. And Elaine, you and I had known of each other, but we only really met last year. We haven't met together physically.
No, we actually haven't met physically, yeah.
Daily, and we work together, but it's very different when you work for a non-profit and you need to raise funds and you've got to be ethical and you've got to showcase exactly where the money is spent. And when money is not coming in, you have to dip into your own pocket to support. And I just really liked the dynamic that we both had the same concepts. We both had the same energy. We both wanted to give back. And even though I'm working in Europe at the moment, I could still support Africa with my energy, and I could contribute to with my expertise, and I could support Africa and its people, which I just love to do. And I love my advisory role because I can share my crazy ideas, and I love the way you handle it. You always take it in very subtly and say, well, we'll have to discuss this with the board, but let's see what we can come up with. And because Africa is dynamic, it suits my personality. And because there's so many different countries, I've only been to 7 countries in Africa. So I love learning about the heritage of new countries. And I'm excited that the association, because it's young, we can grow people. And this is not just about one person. This is not just about you. This is not just about me. This is not about a product. This is not about a business. This is about Africa. This is about the African community. This is about African people and their cultures. And I like your structure. I like your ethical process. And although it sometimes takes time to get something done and to get approval, because we've got so many structured places in line, we have governance, which is important. And SWAA is an association that is transparent and has an ethical process to support the wellness community. And for me, that's very, very important. So I'm honored to
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't even know all of this, but it's just hearing it is like, okay, wow, that's such a different angle to look at it. And I must say as well to you, Celeste, I love the way you work. And, you know, since you've come on board as well, I mean, you know, we were also struggling with our communications, which is so key. And you've just helped us raise the bar here. And, you know, you've helped the world also listen to exactly what we're doing here. And I must say you work so well with our team, with our board of directors, our advisory, and we love your crazy ideas. Keep coming with them. I think, you know, and like you mentioned, the governance is so important. And I think our members who have voted us into these positions are the ones who, you know, expect that, you know, we adhere to our policies and make sure that we put Africa on the map in the right way, and that there is that full transparency to highlight what they're doing well and how they can improve. And this is what SWAA is all about, really. It has so much to offer. It has so much to offer. So, you know, for anyone thinking out there, oh, should I, what is this? I haven't heard about it. Really go into our website, www.swaafrica.org. Have a look. It's an amazing platform. And like Celeste just said, it's not about one person or me or you. It's by the people for the people. That's how it's set up. And that's why it works, because people just come together and get things done. And I want to say a big kudos as well to our board. I mean, they're just amazing, right? I mean, they're working, you know, on the side of their own jobs as well, doing all of this. So it's important. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Well, thank you, Elaine. And it's really great to be part of a community where we are giving back. And I think people don't understand the elements that the board actually bring to the table. For those of you who've been following us, you will have seen that our webpage is changing, our Instagram page is changing, the way that we write is changing. Some of us have had to go back to school to learn new things. Some of us have had to take comments to say we don't like this, but you know, we're a community and every comment is taken seriously. Every idea is listened to. And that's what I love about SWAA, is even if it's a crazy idea, you sit and you discuss it and you get the best things to actually come up.
Yeah.
But we've spoken enough about us. Elaine, tell us who is our first guest and why.
Okay. So this is great. So for the Continental Conversations, our first guest will be Steve Andrews from Steve Andrews Associates. He's based in Barbados and has always hoped and wished to come to Africa. And I've had long conversations with him. I met him through Denzel, who is our board advisor. And Denzel just said to me, you've got to see this guy. You've got to talk to him. He wants to come to Africa. He feels his ancestors are in Africa. So I have invited Steve over to Africa at some point. But in the meantime, what Steve wants to offer is his masterclass massage therapy, which talks about the relationship between massage and anatomy. He has 3 locations, spa locations in Barbados that he owns, and he was the founding member and chairperson of the Caribbean Spa and Wellness Association, SWAA. I mean, how amazing is that? So his focus is on development of therapists in a holistic way. So not just this kind of machinery thing that you see a lot of spas doing, where you just throw them into one treatment after the other, but a more holistic approach. So he's going to teach them about the power of therapy and how to utilize that and how to arm themselves with those tools to maximize the opportunities. And that's with Steve Andrews next.
Well, I'm so excited, and I believe he's also going to give us a free demo next week. Am I correct?
That's true. Yes, that's correct.
Look out for that, everybody. Look out for that so that you can actually see what Steve's all about. You'll be hearing his conversation with Elaine. And Elaine, I look forward to many more of these fabulous conversations, because you and I talk so often, and it's really nice that we can actually share our conversations too, because the conversations are not only just going to be with people around Africa and from different continents. We are also going to raise topics that we feel are important as well.
Absolutely. And that's what people need to tune in for and listen to, you know, the issues that our industry faces. Celeste and I will be on that. We'll be talking to you about, we'll be digging in, you know, just to go through everything. So I hope this will be an amazing chance for everyone.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Elaine, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Celeste.
I'm so excited.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye. Bye.